What's up, everybody, and aloha. Thank you so much for joining me in for another episode of my podcast, Hawaiian. My name is Kalei2K. I'm your host for today, and basically your host all the time. But as you can see, it's just me, this microphone, my beautiful Hawaiian flag behind me. And like I've said before in multiple podcasts, I like doing this. This is kind of my therapy session where I can kind of just vent everything out and share my perspective on life, especially being a Polynesian, a Hawaiian, living in a new place that I didn't, grow up at. But anyways, skip through that. Let's get right to it. Before I start in the actual episode, I just wanted to go over, I guess, some past episode comments or, some advice that other viewers and listeners have shared with me about, questions that I ask. And this is what I love. I enjoy reading comments, seeing other people's perspective or how their life has, some of the questions I ask, what their life story was in that situation. So anyway, in a previous episode, I shared about my experience, moving to Utah, leaving Hawaii and moving here, kind of how I felt about, the people driving out here is crazy. People out here don't know how to drive correctly. Sometimes people mistaken me for, a different culture, a different Polynesian. I'm Hawaiian. I'm not Samoan. I'm not Tongan. I'm not Fijian. I'm not Tokelauan. I'm definitely not Micronesian. So all these different things that people kind of just assume out here because they don't know. And even lifestyle alone. And so I kind of talked about that and a comment came back. And this gentleman kind of shared his story with me. And so basically in his own experience, when he first moved up here to Utah, he no longer lives here. But when he first moved up here to Utah, he was, some of the people he hung out with were really nice. Some of them, different cultures, right? So Hawaiian style, born and raised in Hawaii. This gentleman was born and raised in Hawaii. Moved up here to Utah, made some friends that were, white or black or whatever, some Polynesians, whatever it may be. And for a while, everything was all cool. And then he shared an experience where some of his friends who he thought were friends, I'm not sure if they're still friends, but who he considered friends would come to his place, grab food from his household, his refrigerator, his cabinets, whatever, and just make it like it was their own home and not offer him something and not have some sort of courtesy or some sort of manners, and to him that's like, okay, like, what is this? And it frustrated him because, growing up in Hawaii, you don't do that. You don't just go into somebody's house. Yeah, you're good friends or whatever, but you don't just make yourself food and then expect, don't even offer the host something that you're going to make or whatever, And it's not about the food. That was the thing he wanted to point out. It wasn't about the food or this person taking food from him. It was more so along the lines of, hey, what the heck is going on? Like, where's the manners behind this, Like, he wouldn't go into somebody else's house, whether it's his friend or even his grandma's house probably, and just be like, oh, I'm just going to go make food for myself, or without saying, hey, grandma, do you want something? Or, hey, bro, do you want something? Is it okay if I get something to eat? Do you want anything? Do you want a glass of water or something? So he kind of pointed that out, that was so strange to him. And so when I responded to him, and I try to do this to most comments, if I have the time and if I can, I'll try and respond to them as quickly as possible. I shared with him, I said, it's the demeanor that we carry coming from the islands. We carry the ALOHA spirit with us, especially from Hawaii. You're raised a certain way. You're raised to respect. You're raised to be friendly. You're raised to be loving. And so I shared with him and said, that's just how we're raised. We walk around with this ALOHA spirit. It can be very attractive at times, and it can be very misleading at times because, we're trying to be easygoing people, especially living in a habitat that I'm going to say habitat because that's just what it feels like, habitat that we're not used to. But when people find that so attractive, but they don't understand like what it is or how to have that same ALOHA spirit for themselves. And so in a way, as us coming from Hawaii, we need to teach them that that, hey, bro, you got to be respectful. You can't just walk into somebody's house, take their food, and not even talk to them or say or ask. That there's a certain boundary line that people from other cultures. I'm not just saying white people. I'm saying like people from different cultures. There's a thin line that goes from that just needs to be respected. It's a line of respect. It's not necessarily drawn in the sand. It can't very well be seen, but there's a feel to it. And we go off a feeling. A lot of people from Hawaii, born and raised there, they go off a feeling. Feels good, feels bad, just whatever makes you feel uncomfortable. But in a way, it's also tough for us living out here in a different habitat, because it feels like we got to raise somebody else's kid the right way. You know what I mean? But anyways, I talked with this gentleman. We had a good conversation, and I understand. I definitely understand where that's coming from, and it just takes us some time. We got to share the aloha spirit wherever we go. That's why when I end my podcast, I always say spread aloha, not hate. So eventually, along the line, everybody needs it. Everybody needs this aloha spirit. Everybody needs to get some of it and understand how they can, take that seed in, grow it, and then share it with other people. But anyways, thanks, bro, for the comment. Let's get right to it. Okay. Starting off with this Mana'o moment. So I've been mentioning that my family and I we're planning to go on our Disney World vacation, and we finally did. It was long. It was great. We just came back not too long ago. And I know there's a lot to go through. I'm not going to waste everybody's time. We're not going to go through everything, but I'm just going to share some few notes and some of the days. So, of course, there's multiple parks. So when we first landed, back up a little bit. So before we even flew out, maybe a couple days before, my girls were just excited, happy. They're willing to just get things done. They were, excited to just leave, to get out of this place, to go and have fun. Because they've known about it since Christmas, because we promised them, like, hey, do you want to go to Disney World? Do you guys want to go see Mickey Mouse, or do you guys want more gifts? And they're like, oh, let's go see Mickey Mouse. We said, okay, you got to wait, yada, 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 fast forward. So days before we flew out, our girls are just excited, which means they're up asking us, when are we leaving? They can't sleep. We get on the plane ride. We finally get on the plane ride to fly over. They're half awake, half asleep, half awake, half asleep. We get to Florida, and thankfully my wife and our friends helped us book it, so it's just shuttles, right? We don't have to get a car. We shuttle to the hotel, Disney resort that we're staying at, and we drop our things off. We shuttle to Magic Kingdom, and my girls are just... That's just basically what they look like. And so they're just fully excited. Of course, they're happy to be there. They're just looking at everything. Oh my gosh, the carousel. We got watching Mickey Mouse and his friends perform. Like, they're just fully excited. It is hot in Florida. Okay, we forgot about humidity. We forgot what that feels like, what that tastes like. Oh Lord Jesus! But not even halfway through the day, my girls are just, Dad, I'm so tired. Dad, I'm so tired. And they just crash out. And I'm not going to lie, I was exhausted too. So we ended up packing things in, not staying for the whole time, going back to the hotel and just sleeping. When our hotel room was ready, we all went back, including our friends, and just crashed. So that was basically the most expensive nap I've ever had to pay for. Flight included. Let me put that in there. So the most expensive nap I've ever had to pay for. But it was worth it. Our girls were just so excited. It was almost like they had like a minor stroke from just the excitement. And then all that stress finally was relieved when they got there. So they're like, and they just passed out, But we slept pretty much the first day we got there. Second day we got there, we hit Magic Kingdom again, went crazy at it. Girls got to ride the carousel. Like they said, they got to see Mickey Mouse. They got to see a lot of the characters. Just watching the joy fill in them was amazing. The best ride that I could share is we went on the teacup ride. I know it's very simple, very childish ride, but the fact that all three of my girls were able to sit with me and just watching their joy fill their face, feel their smiles. And it was late at night too, and they're just like trooping through this whole thing. But watching them smile that much was amazing to me. Um, in Hollywood Studios, when we did that, we quickly rushed to go to do the Mickey Runaway train, which was crazy fun. It was pretty cool because the train split apart. Each little, I guess, section of the train did their own simultaneous part of the roller coaster ride, which I thought was pretty cool. We went to Toy Story Land, and we did the Toy Story Mania, which is like a shooting game, which I thought was pretty cool. My daughters love that. And then we also did the Alien Swirling Saucer, which is kind of like the teacups. That was pretty awesome. Lines were kind of long, standing out there in the heat, but I like the fact that at the Hollywood Studios there was a lot of fans going on, so it didn't make things too hot. It wasn't too bad. I wanted to do the Slinky Dog Dash. But the line was freaking ridiculous. Like when we got there, it was already like a 2-hour waiting line. And I was like, this is crazy. And it's not a fast ride. It's not an extreme ride, but I wanted to do it because it was pretty cool. It was fun. Oh, sorry. And back at Magic Kingdom, I have to give it up to my daughter. She and I went on the Goofy flight school ride and just had a blast. And she actually did it 4 times. It was pretty fun. And she had a ball. She conquered a fear of hers because she would want me to hold her eyes, and then we would go and do the ride. And then by the 4th time, halfway through the ride, I would just let her go, and she would just scream her head off, and she had a blast. So that was good. Let's see what else happened in Hollywood Studios. So back to Hollywood Studios. The girls, my daughters, got to dance at this DJ studio thing. I forgot what it's called, but they had a blast there. I thought it was a little bit racist when they said that, oh, let's go do the hula, and they're going like this, and it kind of got under my skin, but it wasn't too bad. It was pretty. I was okay. I let them go with that. Almost met him outside. But no, whatever. The DJ was good. He was fun. He brought out a lot of the characters, Vampirina, Doc McStuffins. But the Timon, that's why they did the hula dance. The best part was watching my second daughter, Lanai. Her eyes just lit up. Just lit up so big when she saw Mickey Mouse come on stage. She was like dancing. As soon as Mickey Mouse came out, she just was like, like her little heart was just like the biggest superstar she's ever seen. She's like freaking out. And then she just screams, yeah! So that was pretty cool. I loved when that happened. Epcot, we did the Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. That was the first ride we went on. And let me tell you, we just got off the Skyline or whatever, and it was already a 2-hour wait. Ridiculous. And we just did it. We had to do it. It was something we needed to do. And this ride was awesome too. So it made us feel like rats. Everything was spinning simultaneously. Like it wasn't like a connected ride. It kind of just broke off and did its own thing, which I thought was pretty cool. My daughters got to see Princess Anna and Queen Elsa, which was pretty cool. I thought they would do a little bit more interactive talking, as actors. They're, talking with the kids and stuff. But it was more so along the lines of them following a script, which is okay. But my girls didn't mind. I mean, we did because we're parents, we're adults. But the girls were just excited to see these Disney princesses and Queen come to life, and take pictures with them and whatever. So they had a blast there. We got to see Frozen Ever After. That was a fun ride. It was like a little water Viking ship ride or whatever. That was cool. My girls loved watching Olaf. And overall, we liked seeing the different cultures. We liked walking around, experiencing different atmosphere, China, Morocco, all these different places. The taiko drummers that came out when we went to the Japan exhibit part. But one question I have is, why don't they have Russia? Anybody? Russia? Anyone? Whatever happened to Disney's Anastasia? What about Rasputin? Where was Rasputin? I was looking forward to that. In fact, what happened to Bartok? Bartok. I'm a huge Bartok fan. I give a ha and a hi-ya, and then I kicker, sir. I was like, what happened to Russia, man? Why'd you put them out? They're not, you guys had Anastasia back in the 90s. Why can't you put them in Epcot? Some things I just don't know. Anyways, and the best part I thought of the Disney World experience was actually going to Animal Kingdom. We got to do the Pandora ride. And at the end, they have this huge avatar character, this Na'vi character. I think she's a priestess, and she's like chanting and everything. And my wife is like, hey, I think they're speaking Chinese. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Ni hao ma, dai shoa, tempura, e Honda. I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Toyota, Godzilla, Gayaka. I was like, oh goodness gracious. But no, it was it was cool. It was just a slow ride to experience what Pandora was like, and I thought it was a pretty cool ride. Then, of course, in the Animal Kingdom, we had to go to Africa. We went to go on the safari. We loved doing that. And one of the things I was wondering was like, okay, is there any? I was like, I wonder if there's any African refugees or people who leave Africa who bring their kids to Disney World. Their kids are born and raised in the States now. They're not from Africa. They have African bloodline, of course, but they're not from Africa. And they're like, oh, let's go to the African safari in Disney World. You imagine the trauma that father or mother must experience being like, oh no, I cannot believe we're going back. And I just thought, I don't think anybody from Africa would be working there. I was wrong. There are two African gentlemen who are cleaning the park. I'm not sure, but it sounded like they were speaking an African language because I could hear them clicking. So I was like, this is a dope language, but I did not expect this. Like, this is like legit Africa. So they brought the true experience over. I wanted to ride the Mount Everest ride. I was so down for it. I was pumped. Unfortunately, it was closed. So thank you, God. Hallelujah. Thank you for not letting me do that. I appreciate it. And like I said, we did go see the safari. We got to go and watch the animals. And this part, my girls loved it as well. I thought it was pretty cool. You could literally the truck would just drive through. Animals are walking around. You were in their habitat, in their world. Most of them weren't behind fences. So that was pretty cool. We got to see giraffes, wildebeest, springbok, I think what they're called. Wild dogs, they were sleeping. We got to see rhinos. We got to see elephants. And we got to see cheetahs. That was pretty cool. Hippos. I think they're crocodiles or alligators. I don't know which one. One of the alligators literally had his nub on. He got his foot bit off. I was like, yo, this dude is legit. This is a legit exhibit. Like this thing has like 3 feet, like literally has 3 feet. And it was just cool to see like scars on it and whatever. I know it's not a cool thing, but it was pretty cool to me. So we got to see that. What else did we get to do? We got to do that. And I thought the rhinos were the coolest things. Okay. So, rhinos and the lions. Okay. So when we rode past the lions, that just made my world, man. That was so cool. My daughters were like, wow, Dad, lions, real lions, just chilling, hanging out on Pride Rock, doing what they do. But here, let me give you my perspective on this whole safari thing. Okay. I was freaking out a little bit, okay, because I was just my senses were high because I'm looking left, I'm looking right, left and right, because now. First off, I know there's no fences. I see predators, I see prey, I see cliffs, I see parts where I'm like, okay, if I was a legit predator cat, I'd be hiding in the bushes. right where the cliff is, and I'd be aiming for the trucks. If I was a cat, I would be like, you're just going to bring a buffet into my territory? And you expect me to just sit here and chill on this rock? Oh, son, we about to hit you. We about to get you. And I would be hiding in the bushes, like target practice, be like aiming for this bus and just jumping. And so my head was on a swivel while I'm trying to enjoy this thing. And I'm just like, okay, I see. Yeah, here we go. I see giraffes. Okay, so like my side of my eyes, like I see giraffes. I see wildebeest, and I see rhinos. I see rhinos. Yo, I thought a horse's ass was big. A rhino's ass is gigantic, yo, and it has to be the hardest ass in the world because it looks like the tank, like it looks like a shell on top of this creature. This rhino's ass is gigantic. Like it took half the bus. I was like, geez Louise, this thing is huge. And the way they were running, it was so cool. They had a little baby there. It was awesome. Because my wife says I have a horse ass. So when she was like, oh babe, look at that ass. I was like, good Lord, that thing is humongous. Imagine wiping that ass. The thing is gigantic. Just wide. Just trailer wide, just double king size wide, yo. And, but anyways, so we did that. And then after the ride was done, my girls were happy. We're all excited. And then I actually ran into this other Polynesian dude, huge dude. He had some freaking hairy ass knuckles, gigantic forearms. He was eating a banana and he told me to scratch his silverback. So, no, yeah. So yeah, there was this silverback was gigantic, everybody. Like huge. On his all fours, he intimidated me and he was like 30 feet away from me, 30, 40 feet away from me. He was gigantic. But what messed up the whole thing was that my kids were like, oh, there's dad. There's dad over there, mom. Look, it's daddy. I was like, you really, girls? Really? That's how you're going to treat me? Wow. But I guess they have a good sense of humor. I enjoyed it. I laughed, but that thing was cool to look at. Had a wonderful, wonderful time. But yes, so that was our experience there. Let's see. Yeah, so we got to see the Samoan Gorilla, the Hawaiian rhino ass. What else did we get to see? We got to see some crazy cool creatures out there. It was fun. Lots of walking. When we sat down at the hotel, like, I've got bad feet as it is, okay? I'm 300 something pounds. My ankles are about, I don't know, they're a couple inches wide. Like, my feet were exhausted. My knees were exhausted. My joints were just like, yo, we don't do this. We didn't sign up for this. This is ridiculous. Don't ever do this again. In fact, you should have started training. You need to train to come to this, okay? You need to train before you come to Disney World and walk your happy ass all over the place. Don't ever do this again, okay? I took fish oils, omega-3s, whatever kind of joint medication I could have, Bioastin, anything, TRT, whatever it was, I took it, okay? I wanted to make sure my joints were okay and everything like that. Didn't help one goddamn bit because my feet were so sore. Dude, you put my foot up for 5 seconds, I was asleep. That's it. All you had to do, if you wanted to take my wallet and take my money, in fact, if you wanted to just steal me and rip my clothes off and make me naked, leave me on the side of the road, put my feet up for 5 seconds. That's all you have to do. Don't hit me. Lay me down, put my feet up for 5 seconds, and I was out. I was just asleep. You could have stolen everything, keys, wallet, social security, bank account information, all would have been taken away. Just because I was walking so much, I was exhausted. And by the time we got to the hotel, our girls were knocked out. I sat my ass down, put my feet up. I was out. My wife had to like, get up, hurry up, get up. We got to get these done. But it was a overall experience being there at Disney World. It was fun. I wish we had more days so that we could kind of spread things out, especially with the long lines. But overall, can't really complain too much. All right. So after all of that, let's get into the next part called It's News to Me. All right. So because we went to the safari and we fell in love with the lions, I kind of asked, what was the biggest lion? Like, how big do these things get? Because I'm thinking they gotta be at least 1,000 pounds of just pure aggressive anger and rage. And I was like, there has to be a world record on this thing. So according to A through Z animals.com, okay, I asked the question, what is the largest lion ever recorded? The largest lion ever recorded was 690 pounds and was shot in South Africa in 1936. So almost a 700-pound beast. When I saw that, I was like, dang. It was kind of a letdown. You know what I mean? Like, it was kind of a letdown because I was thinking at least 900 pounds, like that, around that area would have been like crazy. I would have been like, yes, but a 690, 700, yeah, that's a C plus, C plus at best. It's still a big ass animal. Like, I still won't stand my ground and fight this thing, but yeah, 690 pounds. And so my next question, of course, because I'm interested, was like, okay, so this guy, it's a lion, right? When you think of a lion, you think of this has to be the king of the jungle, right? King of the jungle has to have the most vicious bite grip in the world, must be able to just tear things apart. Well, let's look at this. So according to www.fieldstream.com, 10 most powerful animal bites on the planet, let's rank the lion. Here's what it has to say. The lions have a bite force of only 650 psi, pounds per square inch, which is not much stronger than the hardest biting domestic dog, the English Mastiff, which has a bite of 550 psi. Either creature can bite you and kill you. Let me put it that way. But I think I was like, of course, another letdown. I was like, man, not even in the thousands, not even cold, not even. So it weighs just as much as it bites, pretty much. 650, 690, it's not that much of a difference. So I'm like, man, this kind of another letdown, kind of sad. So I'm like, okay, man, okay, what's the lineup? Let me see what the lineup is. Let me just try and figure out what number a lion is on the scale of 1 to 10, top 10. Guess what number they are, people? They're number 10. I thought he was the king of the jungle. I thought his bite would be crazy. I thought he would be, number 4 or 5 at the worst. It's less powerful than a grizzly bear. A grizzly bear's bite strength is 975 psi. Okay? They're number 10. Number 7 is the hyena, the spotted hyena. A hyena really has a stronger bite than a lion? Crazy. And then a grizzly bear. Okay, so when you tell me who do you think has the better bite, a hyena, a grizzly, or a lion? Number 1, I would have been lion. Wrong. Lion is last. Grizzly bear comes before that. Hyena comes before that. Ridiculous. Polar bear is number 6. A gorilla. So the Polynesian dude in the jungle, the silverback I was talking to, has a stronger bite than them with a 1,300 psi bite. And above them is a jaguar, number 4. Number 3, a hippopotamus. A hippopotamus has a bite force of 1,800 psi. So you're telling me that if a hippo attacked a lion, it could probably kill the lion in its mouth. You know how crazy that is? 1,800 psi. Number 2, great white shark. That's inevitable. 4,000 psi. Good Lord. And then number 1, the saltwater crocodile. King of the water. King of the bite force. Wait, that doesn't make any sense. 3,700 psi. And a great white shark has 4,000 psi. That doesn't make any sense. This list is messed up. Well, we just debunked we just debunked both of these. Why is it number 1? Well, I'm not going to read it. So I don't understand why they have it different on these ones. Maybe I don't know. Maybe they read it wrong. I don't know. But anyways, that's according to that list. So there you have it. All right. So now All right. And one more thing. I wanted to know, how big is Disney World in total? How much land mass does it cover? So according to AREStravel.com, AREStravel.com, Disney World Resort can fit Disneyland Resort in itself 53 times with a total area of 27,000 acres, making Walt Disney World Resort the largest theme park in the world. And of course, it talks about the four theme parks: Magic Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, Epcot, and Animal Kingdom. Cover approximately 950 acres, with the largest single theme park in the world, Disney's Animal Kingdom, measuring in at 405 acres. So there you have it, people. Now you have useless knowledge, but I hope it's interesting for you. So giving you the perspective of, maybe I should do some marathon walking around my neighborhood before I decide to go to Disney World, because you're talking about almost 1,000 acres of land that you need to travel through, walk through. Okay, granted, you catch buses for most of them, but the parks alone, ridiculous. Okay, alrighty, righty. Now let's get to it. The last part of my podcast, which is this bad boy right here. Thought bucket time. Thought bucket time. All right. Here we go. Oh, that's a heavy one. Let me grab something small. Okie dokie. All right. Oh, sorry, had that one already. Jeez Louise. Really got to remember to take these things out. Oh, come on, not a long one. Nope, not taking that one. That's too long. Come on, give me a good one. Okay, here we go. Got it. And like I said, these are my thoughts written down. I just throw whatever questions I may have, throw it in this bucket. But if you guys have questions for me, just toss it this way. Okay, 2 questions. How do I show love, and how do I receive love? So for you folks out there, how do you show love and how do you receive love? For me, I show love by the work I do. I guess that's how I express it. I might do chores around the house. I might try and make my wife feel special, leave a note on the mirror, use a dry erase board. Stuff like that. Like, I just feel like that's kind of how I show love. I do things without being told. I try to work more, make my house cleaner, do things that my wife wouldn't expect. I guess in a way, like, for example, like if there's a pile of clothes, my wife's not around, I do the laundry, I fold the clothes, I put them away. Or the garage is a little messy, I clean the garage out. I do things like that because for me, I like cleaning. I like keeping things clean. I like making things neat and whatnot. So that's helpful. But at the same time, like, I know that I need to, because the way my wife receives love is very different from the way I show it. Yeah. How I receive love, just by the small stuff, just by being respectful, manners, a hug, an embrace, a respect and an embrace. I think that's how I receive love. Like, when my wife gives me hugs, I love it. When my wife holds me at night, I love that stuff. We don't have to be, intimate. Like, it's of course to be intimate, but we don't have to be having intercourse or anything like that to show love. It's just hold me, laugh with me, talk with me. Granted, I fall asleep a lot. It's just my sleep apnea, but I those are the things that how I feel I receive love and how I give love. Okay. So let me ask you guys that question too. How do you show love? How do you receive love? And if you're ever interested in learning more about love and how you and your partner have different love languages, look up this book. It's called The 5 Love Languages. I haven't read it yet, but I've heard that it's helped a lot of people. Definitely need to do that for myself. But anyways, Thank you, folks, for tuning in for this another episode, this another podcast episode, A Hawaiian. I am your host, Kale2K. Follow me on all social media platforms. Look me up. Just type in Kale2K and see what else comes up next. But I appreciate it. Love you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in, and look forward to seeing my questions online and answer them, comment back. I like to share them, as you guys know. So anyways, let me see anything else. Nope, that's pretty much it. All right, everybody, take care. God bless. Remember, spread aloha, not hate. All right, take it easy, everybody. Aloha.